Hi, and welcome to this episode of Great Minds Print Alike, where I get the chance to speak to great minds in our business and our industry about all things print and marketing. So today I'm joined by Jon, as usual, and we're going to dive into a question that I guess every marketeer wrestles with. We're diving straight in. No niceties today.
Okay, good.
We're going to dive into a question that I think every marketeer wrestles with, and that is, what does your CEO really want from you?
Ooh.
So where am I coming from on this one? Yeah, I kind of feel like marketing gets pulled in loads of different directions in a business, not just in our business, but in lots of businesses. So I wanted to talk to you today to get, some straight answers, no fluff. What do you really as a CEO want from your marketing team?
Okay, so as a CEO or as a business or both?
Both.
Okay. So I think it's a known fact that marketeers sometimes may feel that, or may take it a little bit personal.
Really?
When they feel pulled from pillar to post within
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things for me to get the marketing team and marketeers to understand is that actually I don't think it is personal.
No.
I think it's process driven. And I think
expand on that then.
It's because marketing as a function, how I feel about how important it is within a business.
Yep.
And I do understand why some marketers feel like it's not given the importance or the amplification or the budget, etc., that it requires.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's the first thing to go because it's seen as a nice to have by some people.
Yeah.
But in a business that celebrates marketing and understands the power of marketing, that then means that they're spread over the entire business.
Yeah.
So that's strategy and vision, coming back to the CEO aspect, what the CEO or I would expect from marketing.
Yep.
Whether that's the finance and CFO role, which is about governance and spend and budget, whether that's the sales role, which is about results and leads and action, immediacy, or whether that is production operations, which is about promoting the right things and right business. So there's all these things that pull and require actually different things from marketing
and different skills
and different skills, or different ways of reporting or administering it. So back to the specific question, but it's a specific question about what I would expect as a CEO for marketing is I want to understand where we're going on brand. I want execution of brand, amplification of brand, vision, purpose, and some of the bigger, more brand focused activity. But at the same time, I want to make sure that marketing is servicing those other areas of the business that I'm responsible for. So I have my own requirement for marketing. Yeah. But I also have to make sure the bits we've just talked about are also being serviced.
So I guess I, put that in my language. I'm sort of looking at it in terms of brand marketing and performance or growth marketing. And that's sort of kind of sharing my time or sharing the team's time between those two things. And I don't think you can have one without the other. Yeah.
No, I don't think you can.
I don't think performance marketing, which is where the sales team are probably more focused, because like you say, there's the immediacy, the results driven, the revenue generation, the leads piece. I don't think actually that can be executed perfectly well without having the strength of brand to support that.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think there's a difference in requirements, and so that's what causes the stress and the pull, because there are some requirements that are immediate, and there are some that are bigger and less able to give a direct ROI or a direct tangible results. And I think that's part of it, is how do you actually manage and monitor the different results. But I think if you're gonna cover all the bases, you've got to work out how you cover all the bases to solve the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
I think really what I would ask you is what do you expect? So let's put this back on.
Okay.
What would you want me to ask you more of? What would you, as a marketer, expect me to want more of as a CEO?
I think I expect you to want more results from us. I think I need to be better, or we as a marketing team need to be better at I guess having stronger KPIs, stronger metrics to prove that what we're doing, whether that be brand, whether that be internal brand, external brand, or that be performance marketing, that we can prove that what we're doing is working or not working to enable us to flex and change what we do.
Yeah.
So I think you, I don't know if you want it, but I think you need to see more data from me, more metrics from me in terms of what's working.
It depends on what element.
Okay.
So you go back to element. As the CEO responsible for the delivery of marketing and the execution of marketing and sales and product.
Yeah.
I need the teams who need those KPIs and SLAs to see them. So particularly in the sales perspective. So sales guys want immediacy, right? They want deals.
Yeah.
We want them to get deals. We want them to get leads. Yeah. We want them to get the right people in selling the right product. What is a qualified lead? What is the definition of a qualified lead? Does your definition of a qualified lead match what Chris Malloy, Mark Blackburn, the sales guy's definition of a qualified lead is? Because if there's not the definition, if your definitions don't match, then we don't.
Yeah, but I think that comes right back from everybody understanding who our ideal customer is. Yeah,
it may well do, right? But until the teams understand what the definition is, then we're always going to have And actually, same with regards to the finance team. If the budgets are the budgets, and then we don't hold the budget, then it's not going to work from a finance and an admin perspective.
Okay.
At the same time, we want to minimise how much we're spending, but maximise the output. So we have to think about that.
Which is why we need better reporting to understand how we are using that budget, and if it is.
I think just to jump in, there are elements that are very hard to put numbers on, right?
Absolutely.
So from a brand amplification, exposure. So I think there has to be a certain element of trust and an understanding that certain elements that you have to invest in do take time, are not going to be immediate. They are going to be over a period of time, and you have to work out how you monitor those.
And I think talking about our business specifically, we're not a transactional business. No. So I won't do something.
But we need transactions.
Yes, we do. But to get those transactions, it's a longer sales process to get and I go back to who our ideal customer is. Yeah. Our ideal customer won't see a digital advert on LinkedIn or on Google or whatever, and tomorrow decide to spend X hundreds of thousands of pounds on print with us.
They might do.
I don't think they would. I think
they could do. So that's the point. That's the point there. So they might not, and there's a high probability they won't, but they could do, right? So you have to balance both, I think.
I disagree. I don't think there's very many people, and I used to buy print myself, as you know, and I had a significant budget when I did buy print. And I wouldn't have switched to using a new printer overnight.
No, but I think the world's different, right? So I think you have to cater
at that level.
Yes, I think it is. Yes, so you have to cater for those sort of corporate clients. But a lot of our clients now are in a bedroom. Founders are in a bedroom in the middle of nowhere, deciding on and becoming global overnight. Right? They are deciding on who they use. Yes, upfront on values, what you stand for, where you sit in the market, which is all the bigger brand stuff.
Absolutely.
But one correct tactical piece that demonstrates a product or demonstrates the ability to represent a creator or demonstrates the ability to represent a product quickly could well be the deciding factor for that one person.
Which is precisely what I was saying earlier. The performance marketing can't work, in my opinion, without that baseline brand marketing. So I guess what we do agree on this, even though it's appearing that we don't, we agree on it because it's that potentially the tactical marketing can tip them over the edge or create, make that design. But I think there's a much longer term piece that has to have been going on in the background. So they feel that they know who you are.
I think the both together work. And I agree with you that together they amplify the opportunity, but I don't necessarily believe they have to have both. But it's more amplified.
So do you think you can have too much of one of those elements of marketing, or not enough of?
You can have not enough of.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
You can never have not enough.
never, not necessarily. Never
have too much.
I think we're disagreeing, but agreeing at the same point. I think where you think I'm disagreeing with you is that I don't think we need the brand piece. I absolutely believe we need the brand piece. But what I'm trying to make the point of, the brand piece works on lots of levels, not necessarily to transact, but it builds the value proposition, it builds what people think about us. And I believe that new buyers require that much more than a corporate lunch or a sales brochure. Right? They're making decisions on the type of business that they want to work for, what they believe in, sustainability, where they sit in the market, who they are, what they lead by. That I get. The tactical piece, however, does show how we can make something happen very quickly. And the world moves very quickly. Yeah. So people, I think, will make a decision based on a product or an ability to automate or ability to make someone look good or a case study they've seen. So I'm 100% with you that both are more important. But I think in isolation too, they can act differently.
Let me take you back a little bit to that bit of, I know you're a firm believer in the brand piece, but there will be, there will be board level directors who don't share that view with you. How, as a marketeer, should that present itself to a marketeer, someone who doesn't believe in the value of brand? How can they convince the board that brand is important when it's hard, as we've already said, to put a number sometimes against brand?
So I think we're very lucky in that we don't have that challenge.
No, we don't.
In our organisation.
But our audience may have.
Yes, exactly. I'm lucky in that our exec team fully support what we do and what we try and do and believe in the importance of marketing for us and for our customers. Yeah. Right? So that's a good thing. That's not necessarily always been the case, right? So we have gone through it. I think from a business perspective, we talked about that pull, right, and that challenge. And I think exec teams see that challenge as well. And they think, well, what's the value? What is the impact? What's being measured? Am I actually seeing that? Why are we spending time on things that can't be measured? And I think it's really important to maybe work marketing like a portfolio. I think that's the answer for this pull.
Okay.
I think this is the answer not only for the marketing team to not maybe feel so pulled or so personal, right, about challenges or when things don't.
Can't believe you keep referring to personal. People taking this personally. I don't get it.
No, I don't. Just from experience. That idea of treating it like a portfolio, I think, is really important because I think it gives clarity to the team, right?
Okay.
So if you think of an exec team, someone strategy and brand, someone immediacy and execution and sales, someone control and governance and finance, and someone effectiveness and delivery of the right products to make sure we're not chucking grenades in that suddenly send us off in a different direction, right? Yeah. That's the kind of makeup of the board. So I think there's a way, and it's how we look at it, isn't it? But we run it like a portfolio. So you say, right, how much of my portfolio time is going to be spent on the brand stuff? Because it's got to happen. Yeah. And depending on where you are in your journey, the brand percentage might be 10%, might be 20, might be more. Right?
Yeah. So that's a flexible number.
So it's flexible. Yeah. It makes the 100, right? Time, because there's only so much the marketing teams can do, because let's be honest, they're all under-resourced. They are. I don't know.
In a lot of
single companies that ring me up and say we've got
too many marketing people.
More people than we need for marketing, right? Yeah. Under-resourced because they're expected to do more for less. As people move on, they're expected to use technology to do more, but it's not. It's not that easy, right? So we know the challenges, and it's no different for us, right? Yeah. So by creating this portfolio of discipline, it really sets the expectation for the exec board of what's possible, what's going to be delivered. So it might be 10% on brand to keep the CEO brand and values piece happy, because actually we're in a good place on that. We don't need.
Yeah, we've done a lot of the hard yards on that already.
And the internal comms piece might be really strong this year, so we can wind that back a little bit. But the sales piece, we're launching 3 new products. We will 3 new lines. We're focusing 3 areas, and we really need to put some effort into to get the rocket out of the orbit, which is when all the energy is required. So we might put 40%, 30% into that tactical piece to launch our new 3 ranges we want to push, which gives us the speed out of sales, which keeps the sales team happy and they can see, and that will then be linked to the KPIs of what is an actual qualified lead, things like that. Yeah. You then might put into, actually from a product perspective, 20% on making sure that the playbook, understanding what our ideal client is, that the things we're winning actually solve the problems in production, i.e. we have an inkjet that's underutilized. Yeah. Let's not go and sell more book at Christmas because we can't fit much more in. But we do have ability to do X, Y, Z during other periods. So then marketing is adding weight to the production headaches and stopping the spikes, right?
Yeah.
And then finance wise, it's about getting bang for the buck and everything. So by creating it like a portfolio of activity, what it then allows you to do is to bring all your SLAs and KPIs into one dashboard. For one that, like we do, is reported then to the whole exec team, the OLT, that is relevant based on that portfolio. And I think that minimizes the pull.
And I think from my perspective, I was just thinking that as you were speaking, that's why in a lot of businesses, don't do thinking, Helen. In a lot of businesses, marketing isn't on the leadership team. Yeah. And I think, and I am, which is great. And I think that's because of what you've just talked about there, because marketing can't work in isolation from any other part of the business. And I think in a lot of businesses, marketing is seen to work with sales and only with sales. Yet in our business, I need to be working with, and I do need to be working with operations to understand those capacity challenges. I need to be working with finance to understand the budget piece and the governance piece. I need to be working with you as CEO to understand, the brand piece and all that. And I think, for me, for all those marketers out there who don't have that opportunity to be in the leadership team, there is a real need for us to champion marketers having a voice at that level.
100%, because otherwise, if you don't create that, everyone's off doing their own business plan.
Yeah.
Everyone follows their own business plan, but we need everyone to follow the business plan. And marketing needs to follow the business plan, not be off doing the marketing's interpretation of it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if it's not part of that ecosystem properly and the leadership team, then you're never going to get that. You're never going to get that clarity. Yeah.
So, we've talked quite a bit there about being involved in the whole piece and that toolkit piece or that portfolio. And I like that analogy. But it always comes back to me from a position on a leadership team and when we talk about marketing. And like it or not, there is always in businesses the talk of marketing being fluffy. How can I or how can any other marketer in a similar position to me make marketing sound by the language we use, by, how we present things to the leadership team? How can we make it sound more commercial?
Look, I don't have an issue with fluffy, right? I think fluffy's good. I'd like to be called fluffy every now and again.
I don't think I'm called fluffy. I think it's the
last time anyone said I was fluffy.
It's not me. It's the discipline that's called fluffy.
Look, I get that bit, but there is an element of that as well, right? Someone's got to keep things real. Someone's got to remember to cut through the corporate jargon. I mean, one of the questions I was going to ask you, and I think I probably know the answer, is what would you have done different? In the marketing we've done for our business, what's the one thing that? And I think I know the answer, which is why I'm asking.
Now I'm second guessing my test.
You saying yes is what do you think one of the big things you got wrong or you wouldn't do again?
Oh,
in marketing,
in our business,
well, just in general as a marketer, one of the big things maybe you decided to do and realized you wouldn't maybe do it as again or make the decision as quickly as you did again.
I think the branding that we took. The branding that we did when we merged as a business, I would have done differently.
Right. Which is what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
And that's going back to the question.
I've gone serious. You can see my face now. I've gone serious.
It's a serious point.
Yeah. I got that wrong.
And that's why I'm trying to answer the question about fluff. Because sometimes keeping the fluffy, as you call it, but what I call that is keeping it real, keeping the humour, keeping the brand excellence, keeping what you stand for at the centre of what you do, I think is more important than people think. And it's very easy to suddenly decide to grow up or suddenly decide to take a different turn because things happen.
Yeah.
And, and I thought you were going to make that.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just one of the things we made together. And actually, we both sort of think we went down the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because suddenly you think you should grow up or change it. And actually, the impact of that takes a long time to come back.
Yes.
It takes a long time to bring that fluff back. So joking aside, the idea of keeping that humility, that fun, that piece of you real, I think is more important than joking about it being fluffy.
And maybe that's the bit of making my pitch or by talking about the things that we didn't quite, or I didn't quite, or the decision I made that wasn't quite right, and the impact that decision's had on other things. The fluffy, the brand piece, getting that not quite right has wider reaching implications, I think, than getting a campaign that's an 8-week campaign
100%.
a bit off.
100%. You do a campaign, don't quite hit the spot, don't
matter, move on.
Fast, fix early, course correct, change it.
Yeah.
When you directly impact that brand piece, you unravel lots of things you've done before, good and bad, and then you have to try and reboot. So I think, I'm with you. I wouldn't take it as lightly maybe to redo things like that as perhaps we have done.
We did.
Past. And not just the last time, but we've done a few times, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely one. But back to stuff, I think it is a myth about it being fluffy, right?
Yeah.
We work really hard to make it look this casual.
Yes.
To make it look friendly, approachable, fluffy, fun.
Yeah.
Human, but still have that cut through and that tactical approach and that direct here, and the brand piece that is not just about being friendly and approachable, but actually has that bigger purpose, what we stand for, the sustainability.
Yeah, it's got to have something behind
the environmental, the people, the culture. That is not in any way, shape, or form fluffy.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it is a myth. I know people say it as a joke, but actually I think good marketing can take being called fluffy, because actually it's anything but.
Yeah, and you have to have the courage of your convictions and the strength in your belief that is the right thing to do, which brings me on to another point from a CEO's perspective, and I'm not going to take this personally before I ask the question.
I've heard that before.
What does great marketing leadership look like?
I think it's a good question, actually. I think it is having a courage and being brave. I think it is having that conviction of and standing up for what they believe is right against the CEO, the product, whatever, and actually being really confident in why and the reasons why in all areas. Whilst understanding that pull and whilst understanding the need of the immediacy of the salesperson, the vision and the strategy of the CEO, etc. So having that understanding of why people from the different roles need the different things, but having the conviction in the bigger message and the overall aspect. I think that's really important, right? I also think it's about not being in the middle. I think it's about understanding the importance of not being in the middle.
Right.
I think it's about understanding that the middle is a no-go zone. It's a dead zone.
Yeah.
And having a brand that you represent and sitting smack bang in the middle of everything else is a safe zone. So for me, I expect my leaders of marketing, you and whoever I work with on that, to make sure we are not in the middle.
Okay.
And to make sure I don't find us in the middle. Yeah. Because I don't want to be in that safe.
Yeah, that goes back to that being brave bit, doesn't it?
100%. Nothing good happens in the middle, and in marketing specifically, you become part of the noise and you become part of the journey. You become the same as everyone else.
And I guess if that's what the CEO wants from marketing leadership and they want them to be brave, marketing leadership wants from the CEO that understanding of, by being brave, sometimes it means we don't get it right. Yeah, sometimes we mess up and make a decision we regret later down the line.
But
we tried.
You've got to fail fast and fix early. If you sit in a safe zone, you'll never mess up and you'll never make a difference. But nothing good happens in that ground. So I 100% agree. And I think you also probably need from the leadership who want the marketing team to be like that, to also stand by that conviction with the other departments and make sure, when sales want a traditional message to go out, actually, no, that's not what we're doing in this path. So there is an element of selfish drive as well, I think.
Okay. What should marketers spend less time worrying about and more time focusing on, do you think?
I think they should spend less time worrying about it being personal.
Okay.
And more time understanding that the tensions that marketing teams face are based on the processes of the way business infrastructure works, and should have more confidence in what they're doing and stay firm on the path of where they're going.
Okay. I think, I think when I look at marketers in general, that pull is there's so much time and effort focused on the pull and trying to keep everyone happy, and not enough time focusing on being brave and the courage of the convictions and things like that.
Exactly.
So if you had one message for marketers, not for me, you can tell me off air, if you have one message for me, one message for marketers in terms of what the CEO wants them to do, what would it be?
I think it's a very difficult message because it depends. There's a lot
on the business.
A CEO is not a CEO. Each CEO is different. We are all individuals.
Really?
Yes, we don't.
Robot.
Yeah, exactly. And we all want different things. Yeah. So I think that's impossible to say.
Okay.
What I want.
Yeah.
What I would want as a CEO of this business or any business is I want independent thinking. I want bravery. Yeah. And this doesn't just go for marketing.
No. For all our leadership team.
Every element of your team.
Yeah.
Right. Independent thinking, bravery. Make sure we stay out the middle.
Yep.
And action. The right balance between strategic thinking and vision.
Yep.
But back to that tactical piece, also let's win some work and convert some sales.
Get sheet done.
Perfect.
Jon, I think we should spend more time together on camera. These are really good conversations that we had. Yeah, I like it. I actually like it.
Okay, let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not. Thanks for your time today. As always, really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching this episode of Great Minds Print Alike. If you have any comments, any thoughts, or if you'd like a particular subject for Jon and I to discuss, please let us know. Thanks for watching.
Any marketeers have anything to say, send them to